It's a sensuous night. It's nearly a full moon, as yesterday's was. There's something howling off in the distance, and I'm enjoying a gorgeous walk. It just smells like flowers, and the sprinklers are going. I walk in all seasons, at all hours, in any locale, often for many hours at a time. I'm listening to a lot of punk and post-punk tonight, some ska. There's so many stars in the sky. I really need to get a more reliable sky chart app again that tells you all the constellations. I like feeling the dew of the grass against my feet in sandals. These streets are mine. I don't really care what your obligations are in life. A nighttime walk will make you feel like you own the world. I think you should get out on one. Going for walks will always feel like running away a little bit, even if you're happy where you are. There's just something so liberating in the evening, being free to roam. This gentleman is also on a walk. Sometimes things don't smell the best out here. In the farmlands, they can burn blood, there are giant factories, but there are also strong breezes, and it's not always carrying the scents from fields being laid with fertilizer. There's a lot of fresh country air, and it smells very distinctly different than places that are full of trees. It's really beautiful out here. The crickets sound just delightful in the country. There's something very quintessential and classic about it. The sky is just so full of stars, I really can't get enough of it. It's almost like because there are so few trees that the smell of flowers could carry for a mile. You have perfect country night air. It's really glamorous in its way. I think this is called a transformer, and it's not ideal to be around. A lot of EMFs, I'm sure, come off of something like this, regardless of what it might be called. There are a number of warning signs in front of it, so I'll just walk a little bit faster. I've lived in enough counties that I've lived in a couple by the same name. There's a funny mix of industrial and natural that happens in the countryside. There are so few street lights, it's really something to get used to when you're driving out here, especially at higher speeds. You'll end up following trucks just so that way you have some sort of light on the road. And that's actually a really hot tip for when you're driving long distances. Just get behind a semi truck and coast. I know this camera doesn't have night vision, and I can't portray what a beautiful night it is, but I can tell you to go for walks. It's the reason I feel like I own everywhere I've ever lived. It really makes me feel like queen of the world to be out at night all the time. I end up knowing roads like I was the one that made them, even when they're gravel. I can hear the train going off in the distance. I've come to find it extremely comforting from the jump, actually. It's just far enough away that it's not disturbing, but it just feels, I don't know, weirdly homey. I don't know if you've ever lived next to a train. It's kind of nice. Polar Express-like. There's something kind of old-timey about train tracks, even though they're such a modern accessory, too. When I walk around at night, whether it's a massive city or a very small town, I never feel nervous. I'm careful enough, but I don't think there's any reason to just be scared of being out in the world. Again, I don't know. I was called brave recently, and it was over something that I realized wasn't an ordinary event, but realized how scared people live their lives a lot of the time. I'm glad that I feel so bold and feel so one with the world. I hope you can feel that too. When you walk under street lamps, be cautious not to step on beetles and other bugs that are drawn to the light. I actually prefer when neighborhood street lamps are out. The trouble with playgrounds so often is that there are children on them, and if you come to them at night, that problem is resolved. While there are several children I would lay down my life for without a moment's thought, the rest of them I like to stay very far away from. So I enjoy coming to places like this in the dark. All the fallen leaves from the recent storm. Cobbled streets, better to walk on than drive, and always so quaint. That little light you see is the eyes of a very small bunny. I love finding critter companions out here. I especially enjoy solar-powered fairy lights, which I have and will always call them, no matter how many times I was mocked in a Frankenstein prototype from Penny Dreadful voice. It's cute when flowers close at night. They have to get some sleep too. I do love making it home after a long walk. Thanks for coming out with me tonight. I hope you get on a walk for yourself soon. Subscribe for more healthy and alternative content. Not all of my walks will be pitch black.